the end of Perek, when we get the Kedesh Yud Dalet, right? Daf, Kuf, Chaf, on the base, page 240 at the bottom of the page. Okay? So again, he's talking about tzedakah. I've never talking about tzedakah, and specifically about the idea that in Zman there's a division, right? He says that Bepratis there's a division every day, and Beklos there's a division every year. He explains the pasuk that even though Tamed in Hashem Hashem is always eyeing Eretz Yisrael, at the same time it says Mereish Hashanah Vad Achar Hashanah from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. And I told you yesterday that Mereish is obviously as Tishrei, because it teaches us that every year there's a new Chayas, right? What's the Hezbet? The Hezbet is that the Eibishter created the world with Chochmah, and Chochmah is close to Ein Sof. So by Chochmah being close to Ein Sof, it has two milas. A, it's limited, so Mashpia Chayas limited. B, it can always come up with something else, because it's connected to Ein Sof. And Chochmah is therefore called Mekoyra Chayim. So every year Chochmah gives us something different. And the Alter Rebbe's message is, when it comes to tzedakah, every year we should also give something different, higher than we gave before. So let's read now today's shtickele. Daf Kuf Chaf Nebeit. The pasuk says, but always the eyes of the Eibishter are upon Eretz Yisrael. And he explains as follows: that eyes goes on Chochmah. Sheinayim hem kinuyim lamshachas va'oros era Chochmah. Eyes are a nickname, a borrowed term, and a hint to the idea of the light of Chochmah. And the proof is Shalakain Nikru Chachamim Eine Ha'eda. We know that in Chazal, Chachamim called the eyes of the community. Va'avira that Yisrael Machkim, the Holy Land's air, gives Chochmah, gives wisdom. So we see a connection between Yisrael and Chochmah, and between eyes and Chochmah. So Talmud Eine Hashem L'Kecha, but the Rebbe puts his eyes in Eretz Yisrael, meaning to say that Chochmah has this connection to Eretz Yisrael. Says the Rebbe, Va'or of Hamshach Azu, 6 lines from the bottom, this light, and this Hamshach, what's drawn down. Av Sheit Midas, although it's constant, at the same time, Alpha became nevertheless. It's not always in the same level and step, from the beginning of time. But rather, every year, it's a light which is new and higher than it's ever been. The light that was initiated and radiated this past Rosh Hashanah, who mistalik better Rosh Hashanah haba, departs on the Erev of the subsequent Rosh Hashanah to its root, and then when the new Chayes comes back, it's a higher one. Which why the pasuk says that even though there's a truth to the idea of Tamid and Hashem l'kachaba, it's also true that it's Mereish Shana V'adach Shana Levada, from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. Taka Hashem always has a special Chochmah connection to Eretz Yisrael, and at the same time, every year it's different. This is why it says Reish is missing an Alf. And again, I told you that Reish is missing an Alf is Tishrei. And the Gemara says that the reason that Reish is Chasar Aleph is to say Kol Shana. You know what that means? That when the year starts out poor, it ends rich. And Chassidus explains, what does it mean the year starts out poor when the Yidden make themselves poor? Yidden have mavatl themselves to the Eibishter, this affects. That there should be a big bracha. But he teaches Mereish Hashanah by the Achir Shana, Chasar Aleph Reimez, it indicates Alistalkus Ha'oyer. The Reish is missing off means the Pneumistic light, which is represented by the letter Aleph, has departed. Dab of Kuf Aleph and Aleph. Shemistalek B'Leil Hashanah goes away from that Hashanah. So how many different taichim do you have for why Tish is missing an Aleph? The Reish is missing. First of all, Saddam is for Tishrei. Second of all, the Gemara says that the beginning of the year is poor and the end of the year is rich. And third of all, the lack of the Aleph means there was Durmita. The Pneumius Achayas went away. The Chacham, which the Eibishter invested in the world, departs. That's why the Aleph is missing. And you bring back a new one. Ad Acharat Tchias Lafshed Tchias. Sheyeir Den Chadash Elyon Yesed draws down a light which is new and higher than it was before. Shlehoya Meir Adain that was never shining Me'elam from the beginning of time. Elyon gives us such a high light. It reveals itself and is concealed. Be'eretz HaChayim, in the land of life which goes on Yerushalayim and Eretz Yisrael. Shalamayla, which is Malchus of Atzilus. Shalamayta, which is the physical Atzilus. And through Eretz HaChayim, which means Eretz Yisrael, Lahachez is called Ha'elam, is to give life to all of the world. It's called Meshach Shanazu during the duration of this year. So Chochmah is called Makar HaChayim, and Eretz Yisrael is called Eretz HaChayim, and we're called Eretz. The whole world lives off Eretz Yisrael. And therefore, just like Eretz Yisrael gives the world a new chayes from Chochmah, we should give tzedakah to support Eretz Yisrael, more tzedakah than we gave last year. So we should be more kalim for the Eretz HaChayim, which is being nimshach on Rosh Hashanah. And then the Alter Rebbe has one kvetch. He says, however, even though it's true that Rosh Hashanah, there's a new chokhmah, which is nimshach from Makayr HaChayim to Eretz HaChayim, which means to Eretz Yisrael, and then from it to the whole world. But then there's another prat, and that is Giluy Yomei that it should be revealed from the concealment in Eretz HaChayim. Depends on the actions of the lower creations and their merits, their transparency, their fineness, and their tshuva. B'aseres yemei tshuva. Rosh Hashanah you blow shofar, you bring down a new chokhmah. Aseres yemei tshuva, you do tshuva, you reveal that hashpah into the world v'down. Zeh gishmak zeh shei.